Such as apartheid South Africa is a legitimate political stance. To label such a position as anti-Semitic, as the Secretary of State did, is entirely false and dangerous.
In the clip, Lee Anderson goes after Zarah Sultana live in Parliament. The clash hinges on what the transcript says about the apartheid South Africa and an anti-Semitism accusation because Westminster Rose condemned trust in democracy. According to the transcript, she calls it a legitimate political stance, yet the Secretary of State branded it anti-Semitic, entirely false and dangerous. Then is genuinely startling once you clock how the ministers label reshapes the whole exchange. Be honest, ordinary people feel the pressure in workplaces and classrooms, not in Westminster bars. When Anderson hits back, are we seeing the truth or the start of lasting fallout?
What has happened is that a political campaign, I'm ashamed to say led by members of this House, has caused the police to change their decision, to change their calculation. So the Culture Secretary is right to suggest that this is not simply an operational decision. She's talking a good game, but she also says that all she can do is to question the conclusion of the police, and now she's offering more resources, asking them politely.
So here's what happened, in plain English. Zarah Sultana makes a claim in Parliament linking a football club's fans to the Israeli state and the war in Gaza. A minister pushes back and says she's crossing a line by conflating being Jewish and Israeli, which he calls anti-Semitism. Sultana fires back that boycotting an apartheid state is legitimate and says labeling her position anti-Semitic is false and dangerous, and she also alleges Islamophobia. Then the deputy speaker shuts it down and moves the chamber on. In a second, this stops being policy and becomes the most explosive labels in politics, and that matters because it poisons trust fast. Now, listen to the exact wording in the exchange, because the language is the whole story here.
Tel Aviv's racist fan hooliganism cannot be separated from Israeli militarism. Many of these fans are active or former soldiers who have taken part in Israel's genocide in Gaza.
I have to say that she is doing the people of Birmingham no favours with that sort of rhetoric, blaming, in many cases, British citizens who happen to support Maccabi Tel Aviv for actions that are taking place in the Middle East. Conflating being Jewish and Israeli, I have to say, I'm afraid, is in itself anti-Semitism. I think she should take more care with her remarks.
Is it an appropriate point of order?
All right. That's the flashpoint. One side says you're blaming ordinary supporters for a foreign conflict. The other side says, no, this is a legitimate boycott stance. Then suddenly we're in accusation territory, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and once those words hit the floor of Parliament, you don't get a calm reset. You get camps. You get outrage. You get zero room for nuance. And here's the bigger problem for normal people. When politicians turn every dispute into a moral trial, everyday issues get shoved aside. Safety, policing, taxes, public services, the stuff you actually live with, gets drowned out by constant performative conflict. Now, hear how this moment is framed and how the chamber reaction is described, because it shows the political temperature around her remarks.
Zarah Sultana, point of order.
On a point of order, Madam Deputy Speaker, in my question to the Secretary of State, I clearly stated that Maccabi Tel Aviv football team is inextricably linked to the Israeli state, which is an apartheid state. The boycott of apartheid regimes, such as apartheid South Africa, is a legitimate political stance. To label such a position as anti-Semitic, as the Secretary of State did, is entirely false and dangerous. And the way the Secretary of State has referred to me and my colleagues is also laced with Islamophobia.
Order, Ms. Sultana. I do not have to repeat myself more than once. This is a continuation of the debate. The statement, the UQ, forgive me, has concluded. I will give the ministers a few moments to swap over as we move on to the education state.
That framing is brutal, mocked, told it's a debate, not a personal show, and portrayed as part of a rising hard-left style of politics. Whether you agree or not, it's a warning sign. When politics becomes performance and labelling, the country loses the ability to argue honestly. If Parliament can't handle a disagreement without reaching for the biggest accusations on earth, it's not the public that's the extreme. It's the political class that's lost the plot.